It is. It's podcast day. We're excited. We're digging out there. What have we got? Ooh, yeah.
Dude, it's fucking podcast day.
Takes you back to that time when you remember what you were doing when you first listened to that album, or
What is going on, you champions? That's right. Yes.
What up?
Podcast day. Two dudes talk music. Yes, and stew. I've been stewing on this shit all day.
What is going on?
Yes.
It's that time. It's that time. Podcast time. Yeah, spill the beans, man. Spill the beans. We want it. We want this, the exclusive details.
How are you, my brother?
Dude, I'm so
How are you
good.
doing?
Man, I'm so good. How are you doing with
How
the
was
new JOB?
How was the gig, man?
Dude, the gig last night was off tap, hey. Got to say, for a Wednesday night, it was going all right. Crave absolutely put on a cracking show. I've actually got some video footage.
They always do.
They do, don't they? And even
I said it. Well, I said it to you I said it to you before, man. Like, by Crave standards, a bad show is a good show for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so never disappoint. And I think they are playing a couple more shows down and around Sydney
They are.
tonight and tomorrow night. So if you didn't catch that one last night, get out there and go and see them.
Yep, and for all you newy people that catch this, they're heading up your way soon too, in the next couple of days. So it's all happening. And the poly mics, they were unreal. You'll be seeing them on Beer Buddy real soon. And so were Rehab Doll. They were a duo, a drummer and a guitarist, and yeah, they were really good. I was pretty impressed. We had a mad chat afterwards, so it was a good night. How you going, dude? How's the new Skunk Bone album coming?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. We got a lot more. Guitars are nearing completion. I'd say guitars are maybe kind of 2/3 of the way done, thereabouts. Got some of the heavier tones down now, which is nice. It's starting to sound pretty good, starting to come together. Getting to the point where some of these songs are getting stuck in my head now, so
Yeah,
hopefully that's a good sign.
Earworms.
I would say, we can't give a date or anything, but I would say probably by the end of the year, the album will be out.
Hey,
That's what I'm hoping anyway.
nice Christmas and nice stocking filler for all you people out there.
So, well, I mean, we dropped the last one in, I think, November 2021. So if we can get this one out by around then, I'll be pretty happy. 2 albums in, the second album in 2 years. So I'm not going to be too mad at that kind of level of productivity. I know we'll be quiet, but it's moving and stuff's happening, so that's good.
That's the main thing. Hey, you've been busy gigging and get the Skunk Bone name out there, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, well, we haven't really been gigging or much either. We've really been focusing on writing and stuff for the last year. I think it's September maybe, thereabouts was maybe the last.
Oh, really?
Or October was the last time we played a show.
Oh, but you have been busy with Nuclear Vision as well.
Writing. So and doing Nuclear Vision stuff too. Yeah.
What do you got coming up in that camp?
Look, let's talk about that later. Let's talk about that later. I want to get to our guest. I want to get to our guest.
Let's do it.
Today's
We are
guest
running
is
late.
someone I've been wanting to get on for a while now. Been trying to make it happen. This is a guy who I have seen his band absolutely kick ass, and not only does he have an incredible band, he has a podcast of his own. So we're small fry compared to him in the podcast game. He has interviewed everyone that's anyone in the metal industry, in the metal scene. This guy has interviewed a ton of your favorites. Let's get him on. It's the big man himself, the absolute legend, Neville. Where you going?
I'm here.
Yeah, buddy. Got the. Hopefully those applause came through for you.
I know, and I want to say before, I am sorry for wrecking everyone's shit with my primitive setup because I'm an old man. I do old man things.
Hey,
but,
dude, look, your setup is like
exactly the same as ours.
Advanced compared to ours.
Oh, I don't think so. I heard you talking before about some technology and changing cameras and all that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, mate. Honestly, just get yourself a Stream Deck. They're the kings, mate. They are.
I don't know what this thing does.
I'll tell you all about it after the stream. We'll go down the nerd rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be really good. So what's going on, lads? What's happening? I like where you guys are at. I like your studios.
Yeah,
thank you, man. We really appreciate that.
I mean, this is this is where the magic happens studio wise for the Skunk Bone stuff. We did the first album here. Second album's been all recorded here, so it's nice. It's handy. It's always handy when someone in the band has, you know, the space and the ability to do a bit of that stuff. So we try and do that. But your space looks pretty cool, man. That's a really nice setup you got there.
Thank you. It's full of nerd shit.
Hey,
I love it.
man,
Is that an Evil
I'm-
Dead?
Yeah. All the,
Nice.
Yeah, I may be moving I may be moving my gaming PC out of the general living space in the house now that my missus has moved in into what was the office, because my new job doesn't do work from home, so that room has kind of got nothing happening in it now. So I'm thinking of moving my gaming setup into there and doing my streams from there. So it may end up being a more nerdy setup rather than a studio type setup.
you could do both, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could guitar room, and then you'll have your nerd room.
Mm.
I think it's you got options, dude.
I do.
Whatever
I
you're
do.
feeling
I
that
mean,
night.
I've said it before, man. My house is like a fucking 12-year-old boy's dream. Like you walk in, there's all the toys and collectibles everywhere, like in all the cabinets. I recently came into possession of it's made in 2012, but it's the original like Soundwave toy from Transformers, but it's like the Japanese made one. So it's
Dude, I've got that over there.
yeah,
Sitting, he's over there because I'm a big Transformers dude. G1,
man.
none of
Yeah,
this-
G1 and the movie were just
absolutely. I don't know about you boys, but you know, being a big Transformer, anytime anyone from the outside world sees Transformers, they go, "Have you seen that new movie?" And you go, "No," and they go, "Oh, but I thought you loved Transformers." It's like, it's not fucking Transformers.
it's Bayformers.
It's
Is what it
Bayformers.
is.
Two different things. Don't get me started on that because I go down that. Yeah. See,
I mean, look,
like,
it's you know, it's nice to see a live action, big screen, whatever version, but it's very much a different thing, I think.
I think so too. I agree. Yeah, I'm a big nerdy dude who loves metal, and I think most of the metal community are big nerds who love action figures and nerdy stuff, and the metal. I think it goes hand in hand, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cool to see that girls are into that stuff too, or they're coming out of the woodwork. Because when I was young, you know, metal and that comics and shit were not cool at all. You know, like that stuff was for virgins.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
Yeah,
Completely agree. Like I'm a massive anime
And-
fan, like mad anime geek. That's
I think it's just becoming generally more. I think now that our generation is coming into adulthood and nearing middle age in a lot of cases, where like that's just accepted now. It's just like that's what culture is now.
not just that, we're teaching our kids what the right way, what's cool. So all the shit that we used to be like, oh, we're having kids now and we get to teach them what's right.
That's right.
But yeah, we're not going to face the same things that like. I mean, I've chosen not to have kids. That's my choice. You know, whatever. But I think those of us that are having kids are like, well, when we grew up, our parents were like, oh, why, grow out of that stuff. Like that's, you can't. Why do you still like that? You should grow out of it. You should be growing out of that. That's for children. Blah blah blah. But now that we're, our generation's having kids, we're like, no, just like what you fucking like.
That's it.
That's right.
And like it for as long as you like. Embrace it as long as you like. As long as it's not hurting yourself or anybody else. Like what you like. And that's amazing to see. It's beautiful. I love that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
about
That's
time.
why I think our generation's not going to have nearly as much in the way of midlife crises. Because our whole life is a crisis.
That's right. The whole thing, we buy all the plastic shit to feel that, whether it be
it.
wine or action figures. Yeah, it's what keeps us.
It's what keeps us sane, 100%. See, Mum, we told you it wasn't a phase. When you told us to get rid of it all, we got adult money and then we just went and rebought this shit.
That's exactly what happened to me. That's what happened to me. But of course, yeah. Hey, this is really cool being on your show, dude. So I appreciate you asking me to jump
man.
on.
Well, man, I was
Thank
having
you
a
so
look.
much for agreeing to come on here. Like as I said, we've been wanting to have you on for a while, and I know obviously you've got, you're very busy. You've got your band, you've got your own podcast where you're interviewing all sorts of amazing people on your podcast, man. Like
Yeah.
congratulations on how well that's been going.
You've
How
been
have you
busy,
found that
man.
experience?
Yeah, it keeps me quite busy. It's almost a full-time job on the side, as you guys know what it's like doing this thing. It's it doesn't just stop when you hit that stop button. You gotta keep at it 24 hours a day. Plus, I'm a dad and a grandpa, so I
What?
yeah. I told you. I
Wait,
was
no. How? No, wait.
How-
Okay,
how
how
old
old
are you?
actually are you then, man?
If you don't mind us asking.
3 years old, dude.
How old?
43. But
What?
Oh, okay.
grandpa. Yeah, no, I tell people that because
No, that's all right. Far out.
I am old man medals. Yeah, old man yells
Ah,
at cloud.
yeah. Well, you're 6 years ahead of us. You're 6 years ahead of us.
That's like several decades.
Mate, in music terms, that's massive. 6 years, so much happens in 6 years.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I started coming into my taste in music during like the new metal era. Like, I really started because, like, I kind of always had an interest in what was popular on the radio and whatnot. But like, I started really paying attention to specific music and that I liked more than just other music in general. With like, in '97, when Metallica released Reload, and it was the songs off that started to catch my attention. And then obviously that was just in time for the popularity of nu metal to sort of rise, and that was a large part of my stuff through there. But like literally a few years after, literally by 2005, it was like hardcore, that post-hardcore stuff, and all the breakdowns and emo stuff started to really take off and whatnot. And it was like, if I'd got into it a few years later, that could have been my thing more than nu metal, So a few years does make a hell of a lot of difference when it comes to music.
Yeah, man. It's like music runs like technology.
It's true.
It moves that
is
quick.
true. It does, and obviously, I came into music like late '90s. '96 is when it sort of really started for me. '97, and then that's when I started playing in bands and doing this thing. But there's I don't know about you guys. Do you ever think, man, I wish I was doing this podcast thing back then when no one else was doing it? Do you go, man, like, even if it was just like a little radio show that you could just get people to download? Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember MySpace.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. And there used to be that little
mate. Don't insult me. Don't insult me. Okay? I'm not that much younger than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We go.
Please.
We still watched.
I held off against Facebook until like 2007. I refused to go on Facebook until 2000. I'm like, nah, I don't give a shit what this Facebook shit is. MySpace is where it's at, blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't until like 2007 that I actually started on Facebook.
It was actually funny. It was that South Park episode with all my friends. I was sitting around with my friends, and that South Park episode came out where Stan didn't have a Facebook profile or some junk. And they were watching that. We're like, no, we're making you one.
I don't
And that
remember
was
that
it.
one.
That was. It's so fun. Stan, you didn't poke your grandma. Why didn't you poke your grandma, Stan? Stan, aren't we friends? Why aren't we friends? Dad, we live in the same house. It's hilarious. It's such a good episode.
I'm gonna go watch that one. I'm gonna try and track it down. But yeah. There's lots of things I wish I could have gone back in time and done. But
But who knows though? I mean, you've learnt so much in your season now. Do you know what I mean? Like you've seen so much. You know so much more. The caliber of questions you probably ask now, like you ask now, compared to what you would have asked back then, would be completely different.
somewhat depends on it depends on the person. You know what I mean? Depends. It gets harder when you start getting you get the guests coming back on. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for instance, like Bjorn from Soilwork. You know, I think I've had him on more than any other guest. And it's sort of like, okay, well, what do I ask him that I haven't asked him before? And I guess I don't know if you guys get it as well. It's like when you get someone that you really respect and they've done a lot in their career, you're like, what can I ask this person that they haven't been asked before? Because guaranteed that, and I think that's sort of daunting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You seek
Really,
Raph
I
on
found
him.
that.
You seek Raph on
Man, I
him
found
and
that
any
when
deep
when we
dives.
had. I mean, I know obviously, yeah. You recently did
Waylon
had an interview
Reeves as
with
well.
Waylon, which I'm very very keen to talk about. But like, yeah, when we were like reached out to his people and teed that up as like like the New Metal Mayhem tour got announced, we reached out almost like immediately. They came back just as quick, and then the next day we recorded the thing. And so I spent like 4 hours googling and furiously delving into every single interview I could find about the topic, every like little reference, like any alias that came up, I wrote it down. So I researched that. Any other old bands that came up, other bands they've been involved with, I dug down into that, trying to get a sense of trying to go, okay, trying to find something that I can talk about or mention that hasn't been mentioned, that maybe they haven't been asked about before. Because yeah, I mean, I've seen, we've only been doing this thing for about a year now, but I've listened to enough podcasts and interviews to know that asking, people get tired of being asked the same questions, whether it's music, movies, whatever, like wrestling, anything. They get tired of getting asked the same questions every single time. So you want to, obviously, that's because some of the questions are inevitable. You kind of have to ask them because it's what they've got coming up. Like, you want to talk about what their new thing is. You want to get things. You want to try and get a scoop about it or something. But you're like, okay, what other angle can I take? And yeah, you're right. When you get them, especially once you've had people on a couple of times, it gets a bit trickier. But I think for us, we just, like, we're still pretty fresh to it. We've only been doing it 8 years.
You're doing a real good job. I see you popping there and yeah, just kicking ass. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you,
do appreciate that. Do appreciate you saying so, man. We but like we've got. I mean, look, yeah. If we have someone on and we don't kind of feel that there's that much chemistry there, we kind of like, all right, well, we don't. Like we always say to people, if you want to come back on, if you've got something you want to promote, sure, like. Absolutely, let us know, and we mean that regardless of whether we feel that there's the best chemistry with them or not. Like, we want to get them on again for sure, but there's always those people that you have extra special chemistry with, that you really feel like you could keep talking for, like we try and normally go for 90 minutes, 2 hours thereabouts, but there's people we've had on that we're like, fuck, we could keep talking for another 4, 5, 6 hours about stuff. Click. So those are the people, especially where you're like, yeah, like. Come on again, like in a couple of months, and we'll have more. We'll talk more.
Pick up where we left off.
Yeah, and obviously being able to promote our friends' bands has been helpful too. Like we want to try and do that, and that's been a big thing for us. Talking to a lot of local bands. Hey, Piston Fist in the chat.
How you going, guys?
Thank you so much again. For
great work
vinyl.
on the new. Great work on the new.
I did have it in here somewhere. But
where can I see the comments?
Oh, the chats. Yeah, well, we're just on the YouTube stream. I've just literally got the YouTube stream up on my browser on the side while I
see. All right, okay.
Can always use the extra view as well.
That's cool. Hey, shout out to those boys. They're dropping Redline tomorrow.
Looking really
yeah, that's right. Yes,
yeah.
The new Piston Fist album. Go out and fucking get that tomorrow. Give it a listen. Buy it. Go out and buy a fucking copy of those guys, man.
Yeah, the vinyl looks amazing.
Fucking unreal. Like I had it for a little bit. I actually got a copy of the vinyl sneakily from
they shot one to us as well.
Yeah, you got it, so
Yeah. I know, man. These fucking boys are ripping shit up, and they're on that again. We're talking about that New Metal Mayhem tour. They're on that whole thing, like punishing schedule on that. It's like, it's what, 12 shows in 2 weeks, like. With a day off in the middle for travel, like, brutal schedule that. Brutal schedule. And some of the people are playing multiple sets in the night. Like the support bands for Anders and Waylon is made up of like some of the people from Chaosis and whatnot. So I think you got CJ's up there going to be doing 2 sets every night.
He's an animal.
For fucking,
dude. He's a real good dude.
He's
crazy, man.
They're doing great work over there on the local band Smoke Out Australia. If you haven't gone and checked that out, make sure you do, because the Tournament of Champions is coming up again. So go get your band's stuff on. You have to.
Legends. But I mean, that's tour. I don't know if you guys have been following it online, but there's a lot of people overseas that are very like
pissed
jealous.
off that they're not getting it.
We're getting it. Just because it completely came out of nowhere. Like I'm a I'm an old Mushroom Head fan.
Mm.
Waylon, like he's such a good dude, as you know,
Man,
Isn't he wild?
unbelievable.
down to earth dude.
Didn't it just feel like you were talking with a friend that you've known for like 10 plus years?
Yeah, but funny thing is, I met him the night before Soundwave Hotel.
Oh, you were that
And-
story he was telling us about.
You were one of the
You were
people
one
at
of the
the
people at
hotel.
It got we he's sober now, but
Yes.
that not so much, and it was a good time. And they were really cool. They were really cool. And you know, I found that he was just really, really down to earth, and he's just a genuine dude. And I'm so excited that he's coming back.
Never
know,
thought I
and-
could feel that southern hospitality all the way through a computer screen, but he really made you like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he hates KFC down here.
He doesn't like the KFC. Yeah, well, you know, different food standards, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Different food standards.
Get the real
I mean,
shit over.
Yeah.
Oh, American KFC is just, it's a different beast entirely. You know, I compare. When I've been over, I've got Popeye's chicken a few times.
Okay.
And that's quite good. That's quite good. I would put, like, when you get like a good KFC here, where it's like not quite as greasy as normal and everything holds together really nicely, and you go like, that's what Popeye's chicken is. Just the quality is really, really good. I think first time I had it was when we went over with Tensions Arise. We were tracking drums in Van Nuys, and we went down to the Popeye's chicken to get some stuff. And we walked in, and it was just like 3 white dudes walking into a fried chicken store in LA. And it was like, you know, when you walk into a saloon in an old Western and everyone just stops and looks at you? It was a bit like that. But yeah, like amazing chicken, really, really good stuff. Like, but yeah, I'm really keen for this tour, man, getting back on track. Like, I'm just so fucking excited. This is amazing. And the fact you're right, like, so many people overseas are like, well, can we get this? Can we get this? Like, this is amazing. Can we get it? It's like, no, this is like
This is
Australia
our
misses
thing.
out on so much. We miss out on so many cool things down here.
Right.
And for us to be getting such a special show, not just one special show, but 2. It's 2 in 1. We're getting, you know, Waylon doing Killer's Confession and Mushroom Head stuff, and it's like pretty much the first time he will have performed it on as like a tour, you know, in Mushroom Head stuff since he left the band. I think he got up with Jeffrey Nothing once or twice and did a song like 1200 or something, but first time as like properly part of a tour, and it's basically a Waylon solo tour almost. And not only that, but we're getting Anders doing Mate Feed Kill Repeat in full. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
How did that happened, dude? Like, I don't even know where he's been sort of hiding out and stuff. Like, I'm gonna have to get the Chaosis boys on here to talk about it, because it's see how I want to know how that happened. How they tracked him down was like, hey man,
what?
do
He's
that.
he's been doing Pain Face for, you know, he's doing the band Pain Face for a while, but
Okay.
yeah, he notoriously doesn't like social media.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's where
Right.
everybody is. So you don't. I didn't know.
But Joel knows, and Joel knows people. Like Joel
Yeah.
from Chaos, he knows people, man. If he wants to get in touch with someone, he can get in touch with them. I like, you know, you talk about 6 degrees of separation. I think in the music industry, you're probably more closer to 3.
Yeah.
And Joel knows enough people and has made enough connections that he could get in contact with, I think, just about anybody that he wanted to.
Hey, shout out to Joel. While we're at
yeah.
it.
Yes.
A good fucking dude. I've known him for a really, really long time, and he's just one of the best dudes.
And look, you know
He's
what? I
kicking
think
ass,
we should give the Americans give them the opportunity to see this show, but it comes with a condition. If you all want what we had, you got to get the full show. So you got to get Sin Soto, you got to get Piss and Fist, and you got to get Chaosis as well. So you don't just get the good, you get all the good stuff. You get the whole
you don't
package.
Just get
you
the,
don't
the
just
big thing.
yeah. Take it or leave it.
Oh, I agree, man. 100%.
If you're
They
gonna
got to get
do
the
it,
whole.
you get all the Australians and the New Zealanders out and the Chaos boys and girls out there.
But yeah, it's exciting, man. But yeah, like tell us. I mean, I unfortunately I haven't had a chance to watch your chat with Waylon just yet. I've just been caught up with this new job and everything. It's been crazy. But yeah, like how did you find it? Like how was your experience with that? Oh, this is all right. We've got about 10 minutes, then we're gonna have to take a short break while we restart the call.
That's all right. That's all right.
But
Just
yeah,
said
give us some. Yeah, how did you find it? Like, what did you guys talk about? Um, how did what sort of did you get anything? How did you find talking with him after all that time again? And did he remember you from before, or like?
memory a little bit, and because I think it was a big night, and then I saw
Mm.
it, so he's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, now I remember you." But yeah, he was great. He was really great. It felt, as you said, it felt like catching up with an old friend. He's just a really really good dude. As well as his wife, like she's Julie. Like I don't know if you had amazing people, but how open he was about obviously the mushroom head. So I didn't really want to delve into it because I know it gets dragged through the mud so often, but he was very
Yeah.
about it. And of course, and the most surprising thing for me was that he was open about talking about what he did after Mushroom Head, which was pretty important.
Yeah.
He went into working in I believe child
Yeah.
protective services, which is super fucking important. And it made me respect him so much more. And he was someone that I really, really wanted to have on the show for so many years, but I just couldn't get the balls to ask. He was one of those ones that he's an absolute hero to me. So I was like, oh, should I just do it? But then it happened. So
Well, that's like, yeah, Wheeler's like, I mean, he was he's by far our biggest guest today. By far our biggest guest. And it was literally like the tour was announced, and I just went, you know what? Fuck it. That's how I did. I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. I went to his page, I saw the email there, sent the email, and it was just the immediate response. Yep, no worries. You got as much time as you like. When did you want to do it? Let's make it happen. Was very encouraging. And I mean, I discovered Mushroom Head in like probably just slightly before he came on board with the band. So I think I found them. I was in year 11 or 12, and I went to across from the school I went to was a shopping center at a music store in it. Music stores, obviously back then, like 2003, have like music fucking magazines with the little fucking samplers on the front.
Yep.
And I went in there, I bought whatever month it was, and Solitaire Unraveling was one of the tracks on the sampler. And I could not stop listening to that fucking song. I could not stop listening to that song. And then obviously started digging out, trying to find more from Mushroom Head. And, around that time, a friend of mine that lived down the road started taping Headbangers Ball off MTV, and then he'd bring it up, and so there'd occasionally be like some Mushroom Head film clips on there and stuff, and internet started becoming more prevalent in music, and you could start to get like video clips on there. So you could actually find the video clips online by that point, and it just started snowballing from there. But like, and the first time getting this, as I said to Whale, like my involvement or my liking and following of Mushroom Head has been almost lined up with his, because like I kind of discovered the band not long before he joined, and then my first time seeing the band was Soundwave when they came out, and the Sideshow as well, which was not that long before he left the band as well, and it was just, it was so wild to me to actually be talking to Waylon and have him just be so chill. But I love the fact that he's so excited about this tour. He's so excited, and I can tell that he's gonna love doing it. and that he's going to get a lot of appreciation from the fans. Like he's going to appreciate us as fans just as much as we're going to appreciate him as a performer. So I really feel like he's going to bring probably one of the most special performances he's brought in a long time. For this
100%.
tour.
And he's, you know, I don't know where you guys are seeing him, but I'll be seeing him on the Gold Coast, at Moe's. There's a clubhouse.
I'll be at that show.
You'll be there?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be at. I think I've been talking to Joel. I think I'm going to be doing merch at all 3 Queensland shows.
Sick.
So I will be there for sure.
Yeah, man. I can't wait, especially in that venue. It's going to be so good, man.
Yeah, I haven't actually been down to Moe's before, so I'll be my first time there.
So good, man. Yep, it's my favorite. I love Moe's a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
I'll be catching up at the Crowbar in Sydney.
Yep,
Oh,
yep. We'll be
yep.
down there in Sydney. So, yeah. So obviously, I don't know if you were. Yeah, Kyle's down in Sydney.
Yeah, we try and cover the 2 states.
Yeah, we try and cover both things there. So.
Okay, so you're in Brisbane, right?
Yeah. I'm up north. Yeah, a bit north of Brisbane.
Okay, so I'm in the middle. I'm down here in the Gold Coast. So
Yeah, Gold Coast region.
bring it all.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna be at the Brisbane show, the Gold Coast show, and the Toowoomba show. I'm gonna be at all 3, so that's gonna be pretty fun. Kind of following the tour a little bit for the Queensland leg, which will be good.
It's gonna
But
be
yeah,
a
and like,
nice
I think
show.
we're also trying to get. I think we're also going to try and line up to get Anders on shortly
Fingers
before the tour
crossed.
actually happens.
That'd be
We
cool.
can make that happen.
Fingers
Well,
crossed.
yeah, like I got the deep dive I did on that shit as well. Like, you know, probably spent another good 4 or 5 hours delving into the interweaving history of Slipknot and kind of the pre self-titled album period of the band and all the members, and like it was just how everyone was in the same fucking bands with each other for like the 5 years preceding Slipknot becoming a thing. But yeah, I mean that Iowa scene, man, like I feel like the guys in Slipknot were about half of the people in the Iowa metal scene, with how small that fucking population is out there. But you know, it's yeah. So we're keen. We're not sure. We're hoping to get that one. Hoping to get that one as well.
We'll get it.
So, as you said, he's
that'd be
a little trickier to get a hold of.
Yes. Yeah. But hey, man, you'll get him. He'll be
I
out
think
here.
so. Well, look, let's talk about your band, man. We've talked about a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, but let's talk about your band.
'Cause
Let's talk
that's
about your band, the good old Snake
Heavy
Mountain,
as
repping it.
fuck.
I didn't say thought of it, and I didn't know if that was Snake
Of course,
Mountain.
I'm gonna.
It's
course
Raf's
I'm
turn.
gonna
It's
rep it,
Raf's turn to
dude.
kiss ass this week.
It's my thing, man. It's my thing. It's like I like doing that shit. I like it's people will be like, oh, it's fucking, it's kissing ass, like wearing the fucking t-shirt of the band you're in. I'm like, okay, look, maybe if it's a big band or something, but if it's like a local band where I actually know the fucking people in it, why not? Like I'm trying to rep that shit. Like I love doing that. I love wearing bands fucking shirts. I love going to fucking shows, wearing local band shirts. It's fucking like you gotta rep this shit. Why are you buying the shirt if you're not gonna wear it?
100%.
I appreciate you wearing the shirt.
It's a
You know,
nice shirt.
So, and well, that it is, man. It is, and it's, look, I mean, because look, I'll be honest. I think I actually maybe randomly added you on Facebook from recommended people, not long after I moved up to Queensland, and then it was at a show at, pretty sure it was the Back Room. I went mainly to see my friends in NEVILLE and Our Last Enemy, but you guys were playing.
The Vamped Up show.
Yes, the Vamped Up show, and you guys were playing that as well. And I think I happened to see you there, and I was like, oh hey, are you this person? And you're like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, oh cool. But I was fucking floored by you guys, dude.
Thank you, man.
You guys are very good.
Look, we're literally got less than a minute.
Yep,
till
and
this cuts
just to
out,
answer
so
your question, subject
can you-
Luca, dude, yes, we
Yes.
love corn. We are
We
absolute corn
absolutely like corn.
fanatics. Like
We'll be back in a second.
2
Can you
seconds, I'm
switch
gonna
to,
hit
like,
the
a
Be Right Back.
back
So yeah,
screen?
man, I got that ready.
Yep.
that. We're back.
And we're back.
We are
Sorry
back.
about that, folks. Just
Running a bit
we're all
different
good.
tonight.
We're all good. Yes. So, subject Luca, we do like Korn. I think we're all pretty massive Korn fans.
Yeah, we're new metal kids. We grew up with it. We watched the birth of Korn.
Yep.
Did
Yep,
you guys
I mean-
have? Did you guys have the Family Values video cassette?
I had the VHS.
My parents would. My
Red.
parents would never let me have that.
I had that. It was Limp Bizkit, Rammstein, Korn.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was Deftones or no? Deftones didn't play that one. I think it was just those three.
No, but who else was on it? Ice Cube
Yes.
Yeah, Cypress Hill.
and
Someone like
Orgy.
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
Orgy
someone
were
like
on
that.
it.
Someone like that. No, I didn't have that one. You know which one I had was the Metallica Cunning Stunts double DVD. I had that one back in the day, which was pretty crazy.
I had the original Korn VHS when they brought out their first one for the first album. I think I might still
I
have that
remember
floating around. I got the, what was it, Juice? The second DVD that they brought out.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, you know what I had? I managed to get my hands on, and this will show you how long ago it was, a copy of the CD DVD reissue of Metallica's Live Shit Binge and Purge
Oh, wow.
box set. But they were Region 1 DVDs,
So you could play
and
them.
we didn't have a multi-region player.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I remember those.
So, but yeah, you all remember when DVDs first came out, and so many people forgot about that. When DVDs first came out, and you had to get the right region,
Mm-hmm.
or you had to have a very expensive multi-region DVD player. Like, fuck, I remember there was a DVD I bought from JB Hi-Fi that I actually returned because it didn't say anywhere on the outside that it was Region 1. And I got it home and I couldn't play it, and I took it back to the store, and they're like, it's open, you can't return a DVD once it's been opened. I'm like, it's Region 1 and it doesn't say that anywhere on the outside. How am I supposed to know how am I supposed to know it doesn't work unless I open it?
Yeah, you sold me a faulty
So-
product. Get out of my house.
You know, one of the only times I've ever said, can I speak to the manager? Because the staff at the counter wasn't,
That's
I wasn't rude about it.
No,
I
you
was just
can't
like,
help
the
me.
staff at the
Let me speak to
sometimes you
someone
gotta
that can.
drop it.
The
You
counter
gotta
staff,
do it.
the counter staff was like, I can't return this for you. It's been opened. And I'm like, and I explained, and they're like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, it's been opened. And I just said, can I speak to the manager? Manager came out. You got the receipt? Yep. I explained the situation. Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll give you. It was like credit. Pick something else and whatever. But yeah, like, no, fucking those old school VHSs and DVDs, man. That's like, I imagine some of them are pretty rare now.
I think I have a bootleg. Copy of the first Korn album, and so you had the first like Roadrunner Korn album when they got signed and stuff like that. There was one that before that, and it has most of the songs on there, but it has the extra little riff in oh damn. Oh no, I just had a mental blank. It's the open. Oh God. It's the opening song for the first Korn album. And I can't remember.
No, that was no. Oh,
Are you ready?
Blind.
Yeah, blind.
Blind.
Fuck. Yeah, blind. It had there's an extra little lick in the chorus. And it's like a
shit.
yeah, but yeah,
Oh, like a boot. I'll have to try and track that down.
yeah,
have to listen
yeah.
to that. Have to listen.
I'll see. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it. I might stream it and just get in heaps of trouble.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Hey, if we're gonna do that, we'll stream out the. We'll try and track down the basement sessions, which is like the mate feed kill repeat to mate feed kill repeat. It's like the pre-Slipknot rendition
Oh
of
wow!
all those songs. It's from a couple of years prior.
If we're gonna go down, may as well go down for doing
Yeah,
something
go down
decent.
but no. But yeah. Oh, big Korn fans, man. I've played in some Korn tribute shows.
Yeah,
Actually,
Okay.
we
We did
did
that shit.
like 2018. I think I did one in Canberra. Shout out to Shags down in Canberra. Basically, yeah, it does these big tribute shows. So he'll organize a ton of bands to do tribute sets to all this stuff, and he does like 70s, 80s, 90s ones. He did like a Giants of Metal, which was all which was kind of like all eras. It was, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I did a Corn set for that with a bunch of good mates. We had Maddie on drums, Six and Barnsey on guitar, and shout out to Devoy who did vocals for that one, which fucking very, very impressive. Anyone who can do Corn vocal stuff, because some of that stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
And then we did a couple of more recent ones actually with, well, I say more recent, they were like in the months preceding the pandemic, because we had one that was like, it was like right before Christmas in 2019, I think.
Mm.
And then we did one, it must have been one of the last gigs in Sydney before everything really started to shut down from COVID. So, but that one we had Devoy jumped over to drums. We still had Six and Barnsey on guitar, and actually Jesse Drachman did vocals.
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Because Snake Mountain played with
the Brisbane version of that.
Yeah, on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, so so he had the different,
Yeah.
he had different musical groups for the Queensland and New South Wales versions of it.
Remember that?
But yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that, man. I tell you what, man, I had to unlearn so much about playing bass to play those fucking fieldy bass parts. Let me tell you, everything that you're supposed to do in terms of how you set your amp, how you set your bass up, how you play, just is like everything do the opposite of that. And that's how you sound like Fieldy. It's fucking crazy.
Did you see?
You want to hear a funny story?
Oh, go.
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
100%.
No. You say what you're going to say first, and I'll tell you.
Oh, me? No, I was
Story
just
about
going to say, if anyone gets a chance, go check out the live stream Fieldy did.
Okay.
He did a live stream where he was going through how he sets up his bass and like just sort of playing some parts and stuff like that. It's not great. It's not great. It's not
It's
great.
like, is it as good as Fieldy's Dreams?
Wow. Whoa. I haven't heard that being mentioned in a while. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Fieldy's Dreams. Jeez.
Fieldy's Dreams. Talking about Fieldy's Dreams, I don't know. Shout out to Shane, my best mate Shane. He's probably in bed by now because he's also old. But back when Korn toured here for Big Day Out, his mum was a cleaner for Marriott. Anyway, they were staying there for the week between the Big Day Outs.
Mhm.
And she had to go and clean their rooms, and went in one day, and Jonathan Davis was in there half asleep with, like, she said, like McDonald's wrappers all over the place. And she's like, oh yeah, my son. He's like, half asleep. My son loves your band. So signed like a thing for him, and he's like, look what I got. And I was like, that's so sick. And then apparently Fieldy, she's like, this guy plays the thing, and followed her around as she was cleaning the rooms because he was bored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was at the hotel.
He's probably just
look,
talking to her. Just wanted someone
Just
normal
talking
to talk to.
this little Filipino lady just cleaning the rooms, and apparently he was just like bored, and he's just like,
I mean, any band that's been on tour will tell you that's exactly what happens. Like, you get bored as shit when it's a lot of waiting, a lot of sitting around,
And a lot of talking to the same old people. You can only hear the same story so many times. Let's talk to someone different.
Yeah,
yeah.
why not
Let's
talk to the
find out
cleaner?
what she's doing. What are you using to clean that toilet?
I use that at home.
I found that hilarious.
That's
I found that-
amazing.
That's pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
that's his mum's. But she met heaps of rad people when she was, because that was before they built the Versace. That was where they all went to stay.
Yeah.
Arnold
Nice.
stayed there, and a whole bunch of rad people. But I love that story. Like, remember hearing that story, and I was just like, "That's so sick! That's the best thing ever!" And like Jonathan Davis all crashed out on the bed, like
Macca's everywhere.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would have been back when they were all still partying like
Yeah.
fucking wild animals too. So,
Yep.
oh,
100%.
that's crazy.
There's probably other stuff that you didn't hear about that you saw.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I can't tell these people what these idols really did. Jeez. They were
Mate,
good
what
boys.
goes-
They just had Macca's everywhere. No drugs.
No, there was no.
They just had
It was
Macca's.
it was all McDonald's rappers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Your Macca's straws.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's it.
But to answer your question, subject, Luca, yes,
Yeah,
big
we're
corn
massive,
fans, all
massive.
three of us. So okay, let's take a look at this then. Since we talked about a lot of new metal stuff. I mean, we will get back to Snake Mountain. I promise. We will get back to Snake Mountain because I do want to talk more about your band. But since we're here, this is something that Kyle and I have discussed several times. You know, there's the whole concept of the big four, right? So you've got like obviously Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and
Anthrax.
Anthrax? Yeah, Anthrax. Mind you, I slept on Anthrax for way too long. If you're still not paying attention to them, go and listen to them because they're fucking badass. What would you, and this actually might be a question that we'll start putting in the quick question quarter going forward, I think. We'll pick a genre and do this, but let's look at new metal and we go, who would if you were to go big four of new metal, who would you pick? Not in any necessarily in any order.
Just real quick though, is this in regards to a certain comment that someone made this week?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about that afterwards. Proceed.
No idea what comment. Now I really want to know what comment you're talking about.
Because this is the same kind of conversation where people get shitty when they go, "Oh, Exodus," or should be in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my big four alone, like, is
this is just yours, not
switched
like
around.
your personal preference, not based on like
Because are we just
perception
talking
of
new
what
metal?
you think
or...
it should be or what people will think it is. This is your personal perception.
This is a tough one. Like I'm a big Wes Borland fan. I was a massive Limp Bizkit fan, but I'm not so much anymore. But I still am a big, massive.
It's okay, I forgive you.
Hey man, like I'll still go see him
Bizkit.
like that. Yeah. Like that's it's just I don't know. I guess I changed.
I dance to Dad Vibes every fucking week.
Yeah,
every fucking week.
but
Dancing around the house and shit.
I don't know. New metal was a big thing for me back then, so I guess because it was so much. Like I was trying to absorb so much of the time. Like I was really into a band called Spine Shank.
Oh man, I love them.
Yeah,
I love
was
Spine
really
Shank.
Spine Shank.
Spine Shank are the underrated fucking legends.
Fucking oath,
new
man.
metal.
Same with Taproot. Taproot were another fucking one. Their singer was a bit different, but I thought they were fucking amazing.
Yeah, Taproot. Yeah, that band. Oh no, is that the one I'm thinking of?
Trapped. You're thinking of Trapped.
Trapped is the one I'm thinking
Trapped.
of. Yeah. No, don't even want to go there. But it depends on where it was at. But yeah, Korn was a big at the very beginning. Korn was a very big deal. Limp Bizkit was a very big deal. I really loved I fell down the industrial sort of electronic sort of side of things, like your Static X, your Spine Shank. I guess because for me, Fear Factory was the first band I really saw live that changed everything. So you like this album here, like we've got a crusty version of manufactured here. So that sort of helped for me. It steered the direction of what I was into, and still does to this day. But Limp Bizkit, I copped a lot of shit even back then, from my friends going, "Oh, you know." But I love, I love $3 Billy Joel a lot. Like I really love that album. Korn at the time, but they lost me at Issues.
A lot of people dropped off that.
There was a definite sort of like the first few couple of Korn albums were like, quite high up, and then it's kind of dipped a bit, and now I think they've had quite a resurgence. Their late career work, their last few albums has just been
last couple of albums
fire.
Really, the last one was what was the last one called? Anyway, really, really fucking good album. Can I swear on this thing?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely can.
I swear on my show. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely,
go
you
hard.
can. Go for
But
it.
anyway, just won't drop the C-bomb. But yeah, for me, it was a weird time. Music was definitely changing, and the electronic side of things was a big deal. So Spine Shank, Static X, stuff like that. I discovered 9 Inch Nails around that time. So I guess for new metal, I'd say Limp Bizkit, System of a Down were a big deal. Static X, and Deftones, but I Deftones will probably fight everyone, say we're not new metal. But
They will. They refuse to
That-
fall
they
into
were
that
in that
niche.
little-
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
bro.
Here's the thing.
You don't get to pick.
Here's the thing. I'm actually really curious to get your thoughts on this because this is the stand. Like, this is a hill that I will die on. I've said this to a few people, and I get different responses every time. I don't consider, like, nowadays,
Yep.
new metal as a genre has very specific connotations. But I look at what was called new metal from back then in that kind of late 90s, early 2000s period, and I don't consider new metal to reference a genre. I consider new metal to reference an era, period, because you look at all the bands that fell under that new metal label from that time period, and they are so vastly different.
It's true, 100%.
You look at bands,
Very
you've
right.
got,
'Cause-
like Marilyn Manson, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Slipknot, Deftones, Static X.
Do we throw
as you said, all these
Rammstein and
bands.
Machine Head into that because that is their era?
Oh. And Machine Head definitely did some of the more like rap metal stuff for
Yeah,
a couple
man.
of albums.
And I
for
think
sure.
Rammstein got a slot. I think
Yeah.
Rammstein got a slot in there
And-
too.
Rams. I think at the time they were definitely like all these bands were definitely considered new metal, while having vastly different sounds. And I think the period that we consider new metal is just more like it was just kind of an explosion of people realizing, all right, heavy metal has been established as a thing. What else can we do with it? And blending it with so many different things, and just the directions that people were taking it just exploded in so many different ways. And obviously now new metal is very much like, okay, kind of bouncy riffs, maybe some like rap style vocals in places and whatnot. But like that period of new metal, I don't consider new metal from then anyway to be a genre as much as I consider it to be a time period.
That's a hot take. That is a really, really good.
And it's the right one.
Hey man, I haven't thought about it like that as an. Yeah, you are right. But now people associate the rappy vocals and the riffs and stuff
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
That is true. And it's evolved now. A lot of these bands that are coming out now that weren't even born at that time, you know what I mean? All these younger dudes are drawing influence from that, and they're blending it in with this alt metal
Modern
thing.
sound.
There's
It was
bands like
crazy. It was at that gig last
that
night.
modern that gentier sound, that modern gentier
right.
sound, blending those new metal elements in with that, and it's fucking amazing.
Mate, there would have been this young
really
girl
is.
there.
Bands like
She would have been
Dropout
like
Kings. Oh,
20, and she had a corn sticker on the back of her phone.
yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know, like it's, but that the comment I'm talking about is Jacoby from Papa Roach.
Yeah.
He recently came on an interview. I really don't want to misquote this because it was just such a banger of a quote. So just give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. You can get while you're looking for that. Let's get back onto Snake Mountain for a bit. So, how long has Snake Mountain been? Obviously, a few years now because we're talking about that, that you played with that Korn tribute thing back like kind of 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, man. Snake Mountain, was it 2014? Earlier than that, I think. Because it started originally as a side project from my original band that was Shifting the Paradigm, which was like a weird sort of tech death band. And it was like I wanted to do something that was kind of, I guess, like I'm a big Gore fan. I wanted to do something that was like with the masks and say things that I couldn't usually say in the other band. But it's funny because that other band sort of fell away as bands do, and then Snake Man sort of get heavier and heavier and more serious, and member changes to what it is now, which is sort of it's weird because it seems like I'm back to musically to what I was doing with the technical stuff, because a lot of our new stuff now is more in line with the tech death stuff, which is it's like a full circle from that time, which is weird for me, but I love it. I love where this band's headed. So
because it's fucking quick.
I mean,
it's heavy.
It's
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
it's fire. It really is.
It
like,
is.
you want something that's going to melt your face off. Snake Mountain's a good pick.
Yeah, it melts
Like,
my face off. That
and
you tip right onto the
live
heaviest point
shows
of where I live.
and the live show, man. Like you guys bring a lot of energy when you play live. It's one of those things where like you the like on stage you're fucking like super intense, right? You're doing your thing, you're running the band, you got all that energy, and then you're just like super super nice dude the second you step off stage, and like you wouldn't. It doesn't seem like it's the same person in a lot of ways, which is crazy though because it's like the people that do like the filthiest vocals are the people that are the nicest people, right?
It's true, but this is a question that I've had for other dudes. Is where do you go? Is when I don't know when you guys perform, when you're up there, you get this. I don't know if you get this semi blackout period, I guess, where you're playing, but you're conscious of what's happening, but you don't feel like
You're there.
You're actually physically there. There's someone else that sort of takes over. Maybe it's just that other personality. It's I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like I'm not completely in control, which is a weird sort of hippy dippy way of maybe thinking.
No, I mean it makes a lot of sense to me. It's one of the
Completely
reasons that I am such a fan of exploring, stage personas. Like I've had, Tensions Arise was the first band that I played live with, all the way back then, and I was very very like shy, very introverted, very not confident person, and I kind of was like, all right, well, I want a stage name, and I want to just like nothing crazy, but I want a stage name so that I can at least be like that version of me is up here, and the normal me is like the real me is like down here, and through being that overconfident, like just batshit crazy fucking performer, I kind of was able to bring the real me up and learn how to bring those parts into myself. But then I moved on to Acid Nymph, and it was like, all right, this is like crazy clown fucking carnival folk, so I've got face paint and crazy outfits on and a different stage name again, and I have a different personality on stage, and I get to explore that part of myself with it. And now Skunk Bone's probably like the closest to just me being me. But then I up there with Nuclear Vision, and it's like, again, we're wearing masks. I've got the character for Nuclear Vision that is literally like the idea of the absence of anything. It's like this.
Yeah.
It's the whole gimmick of like this, you staring into the void and embracing that like entropy and chaos and all that side of thing. And it's I completely understand where you're coming from, what you're talking about with that feeling. Like it feels like you kind of get to your primary consciousness kind of gets to take a back seat for a little bit, and the more rather than the primary consciousness, it's the more primal elements of yourself get to kind of come out and get to just unleash with it. It's a catharsis, or in a lot of ways, you get to like just let that darker part of yourself go and fucking ape shit.
Yeah,
and
100%.
That works out a lot of those negative emotions through doing that, right?
That's exactly right. But here's another thing. The other flip side of that is there's some people out there that have taken that to the extreme, and they have let that sort of taken over their personal life to a point where I guess the person they used to be, I don't know, maybe an example would be Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
Brian Warner, you know what I mean? Brian Warner, the nerdy journalist back in the day. And then you see when he became Marilyn Manson and then embodied all that shit. And it seemed to have like, you know what I mean? This is what he is now.
yeah,
you
but
know,
I think,
now
I think he was
canceled.
just a bit of an attention whore at the end of the day.
I
It was
think
what got him the most, like what got him the most attention, Brian
Yeah,
or
that's
Marilyn
it.
Manson?
Some of that I
That's
think
it.
comes down to just living like a rock star. It's like living the gimmick, right? I don't know if you're much of a wrestling fan, but you have like the idea of a wrestler like living their gimmick. They play this character on stage, but then they're living the gimmick too much. It's like they kind of take that character back into their personal life.
Yeah.
And become that. And I think when, we talk about having this stage persona, right? And I think that even people that don't have necessarily a stage name still often have a stage persona.
Yes.
And when the audience only ever sees the stage persona, it's very easy for the audience to believe that that is the real person and expect, and then if they meet that person outside of that, they expect the stage persona out of them.
I think
and when
that's
you
stereotypical, like whole Nathan Explosion thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They expect you
But,
to be like that all the time.
But it comes down to so much
it
because
just doesn't work like that.
You have these massive stars and that people develop these parasocial relationships, and there's such a power imbalance there. And again, something I've said a couple of times before that probably is going to cop me a lot of flack. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before, but I'll say it now, and it might cop me some flack for saying it. And I'll be honest, I kind of don't care if other people agree with me or not about this, because it's how I feel. I think that the idea of a consensual sexual relationship between an extremely famous person and a groupie, for lack of a better term, I think the idea of consensual sexual relationship is far more murky than most people are willing to admit.
Yeah, power imbalance.
Because there is a massive power imbalance there that a lot of people just don't want to think about.
This is the main reason why famous people tend not to go with non-famous people.
Like if you look at someone who's, again, we'll use we'll use Marilyn Manson as an example because there is a lot of talk around that. I think it illustrates the point very, very well. This is a person who, his career goes gangbusters. He gets surrounded by yes men.
Yes.
You get surrounded by people that, they don't want to say no because they're afraid if they say no that they'll be on the outside. They'll lose their job, or that they'll then be on the outside, and you won't want them around anymore. And so they just say yes to whatever it is, no matter how crazy or excessive. They just say yes, and that means that when a groupie comes into that situation, or a fan that might come into that situation, and then it's like, you're this massive rock star, blah, blah, blah. And, they consider to be very attractive. And if there's like they might, you might go, oh, yeah, you're pretty cute or whatever. Or they might feel like, because there's that rock star ideal of, rock stars always want to fuck their fans, right? It's like, and some fans want that from their rock stars. They want, that's part of their goal, is like they want to get backstage and meet them so they can fuck them. Because that's some fantasy
that used to be the thing of a groupie.
Because that's this like social fucking thing that's been built around rock stars, right? And that idea of excess and just engaging in sex, drugs, rock and roll, and all that business. And if they might get back there and they might feel like, they want to fuck you as but do they really? Do they really? Is that how they really feel?
No, but where
does it become difficult?
They've already had the romantic conversation in their head and the way things are going to go, and then when they actually meet the person after on stage, it's a completely different person.
And then where does it become a case of, okay, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that the whole idea is there's such a power imbalance there, and the status and influence that, and it's not like there's a hard line where it becomes a problem. It's a gray area because there's different levels of fame and influence and whatnot. But when you have someone in any industry, not just in music, but I use music because it's like a good example and it happens a lot, and it's what we talk about. When you've got one person that's got a lot of social status and power and influence and wealth, and then you've got the fan who either doesn't have that or feels like they don't have that, there's a power imbalance there that is just as important to consider as, a teacher-student relationship or a boss-subordinate relationship or anything of that nature. And I think that it's something that most people overlook because the idea of the rock star and sex, drugs, and rock and roll is so ingrained in society.
I think it's all
that it's
changed
just
now. I
considered
think
to be accepted.
a lot of it's now. It's just like you have a look at most of these rock stars now. They just muck around with Instagram models.
No one cares. It's all changed now. It's all in the rap game now.
Mhm.
If you come back to a
Rappers are the new
metal
rock stars.
rock show now, you're just gonna see some like dudes on their phone eating a sandwich, drinking a
Rap-
beer.
Rappers are the new rock stars. It's absolutely happened.
Yeah.
That shift has happened, man. Like rappers are absolutely what rock stars used to be.
That's it. And all the it is interesting though, because I mean before you get this idea, before you ever go back, I don't know if you guys have ever been backstage at a show where you go back, you think it's all going to be like crazy, but it's not. It's just a table.
Yeah, I know.
It's and a couple of beers that you're not allowed to drink, or
And everyone's sitting around waiting for their turn to go and do something.
yeah, that's it. That's it. But I tell you what, being a support sometimes is pretty fun. You've probably done it yourself because you get
Four
free
times,
beer.
Yeah.
You get the free beer, and then you got your beers that you can't drink, and you might have a couple of those.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's a lot of fun. It is.
I'll read that. Let me read this thing.
Oh, you found that quote? Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I did. Okay. So this is big shout out to Metal Sucks because this is where I'm reading it from. We're always going to give a shout out to the people that make the effort and write the articles. So thank you very much by M Shadows. So I'm just going to read the quote. So basically, Jacoby Shaddix said that, okay, we're watching Metallica step into that Rolling Stone spot right now. And Foo Fighters and other one of those groups. And Korn, Papa Roach, and Deftones were like the next Metallicas. You know what I mean? That's it. We're stepping into that spot now. Now look.
I certainly think he believes what he's saying.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think that the band that is doing that
Is definitely Korn is one of them.
Bring Me the Horizon are the band that
they're a
comes
part of
to
the
mind.
new. They're a part of the new school, man. They're the new gatekeepers.
Yeah, I guess they started pretty early back in the day, but I don't know, man. In terms of on that level, I don't know if we're gonna see. It's gonna be rare to see, especially with those old. I don't know, man. Like,
you want to know something crazy? You want to know something that's really going to spin you out? It fucked me up the first time I really thought about it. Metallica has now been going for almost as long as Black Sabbath when Black Sabbath retired. When Black Sabbath had the End World Tour and wrapped up,
yep,
it was like 45 years, something like that. Metallica is approaching that same thing because you don't think about it like that. You don't think about it like that, but when you actually look at it, Metallica came on the scene about 10, 12 years after Black Sabbath did. And you don't think of that. I never thought of those bands as only 10 years apart.
Crazy, right?
See?
It's fucking mental.
Only 10 years, but look how big differences in 10 years makes in the music industry.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Look, let's go. We've been going. We just this is the thing. I knew we could just talk and talk for ages. So we will absolutely have to get you back at some point. But let's go on to the segments because we need to get these segments out.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right,
cool.
Let's go.
I think we've got 5 minutes before it boots us again.
Okay.
All right. Actually, yeah. Let's go to a break.
Reset?
Let's have we'll reset.
We'll reset,
and then we'll be back.
All right, we'll hit the BRB.
Hit the BRB.
we are back. Yep, we're
Awesome.
back.
So now, yep. And now let's hit the thing for the quick question quarter
And let's do
when we're ready.
that.
That you had you could
Quick question
you do,
quarter.
you want you could do so you
I need to get one of these. I need to get one
Alright.
of these stream things.
Oh, dude.
Stream decks.
It's a
Yeah,
game
yeah.
changer.
That's good. I mean, look, you edit your stuff afterwards, so you can kind of like just drop segment stuff in, I guess. Like I don't know. We like the idea of doing it live because in theory, when you get an active chat, it's really, really fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, lots of people asking questions. It can really fuel the conversation, which we really like. It's a lot of fun. But yes, let's go to the quick question quarter, spelled with Q's, not K's, because we don't roll like that. This is a bunch of rapid fire questions. They start out easy and they get a little bit more challenging as we go through. And basically, this just helps us and the audience get to know you a little bit better and what makes you tick musically.
Okay.
So let's get it underway. What was your first instrument?
Guitar.
Awesome.
Nice.
What was the first album that you purchased?
With my own money or one?
No,
Because
with your own money.
yeah.
With your own money.
Let's say
Okay,
with
all right,
your
my
own
own money. Own money was the Wayne's World soundtrack.
Ooh,
Do you know what? I had a
nice,
funny
nice.
thought this week. Do you know all of us are just living out Wayne's World?
It's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were the OGs of fucking what we are all doing now.
It's
Whatever.
true.
Yeah.
They did it first.
Yeah. Yep. What was your first live concert?
Red Hot Chili Peppers, 1996, One Hot Minute Tour.
Wow.
Damn, that's a good one.
That's fire.
They were shit.
Oh,
Regurgitator blew them the fuck away.
the Gurge, mate.
They destroyed them.
Guess
And
where
I
I'm
was
going
so
this Saturday?
disappointed. Where you going?
Going to
What's
Friends
that?
of Rome, Cup of Pestilence
Oh
Nice.
shit!
at the Matty Bar.
Very nice.
Amazing band.
That's
Fucking
They
pretty
never,
awesome.
never disappoint.
Man, you know what? I think the first time I ever saw anything from Friends of Rom was on John Safran's Music Jamboree.
Oh,
You remember that show?
Yeah, it was the greatest.
Yeah, and they were doing it was like the world instrument section at the end of the thing where they played one of their songs with like weird, like traditional instruments from a certain country.
I still quote
Um,
that show.
Yeah, man, I still remember like they had ICP on there, and they like sent a guy dressed up as Mickey to apologize because it was when that whole saga had gone down with them being kicked off Hollywood Records.
Yeah,
Because Hollywood Records was owned by Disney, and people were like the mum brigade was like Disney shouldn't have something evil like Insane Clown Posse. So they sent like a Mickey mascot, and they jumped him and beat him up and everything because it was right when they were very much into wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
unreal.
That was great.
What's an instrument that you've always wanted to learn but haven't yet?
Ooh. The theremin. I had one
Yeah.
and I was shit at it, so I sold it. But now I'm like, it's got the.
You reckon you could give it another go? Yeah.
I reckon I'll give it another.
Wasn't
go.
it Cyrus
fun.
that said that?
Oh, I think so, man. We had a few people. We had a couple of people say it. It seems
Yeah.
pretty popular, man.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
pretty popular.
Man. It's hard.
Oh yeah, I know, man. I've been to you know what? When I was in the US, I went to a bunch of different museums. And some of them were like science museums. Every science museum had one of those.
So good.
Every science museum. It's great. If you could pick, and now look, this is a qualifier on this next one, a bit of a qualifier on this next one, but if you could pick any band or artist to open a show for, now this is living or dead, active or not, whatever period in their career that you would like. If you could pick one big band or artist to open a show for, who would it be?
Fear Factory, because
Good choice.
that was the big one for me. At the moment, my bucket list band is Necrogoblicon.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, that's some
That
good
would be
shit.
fun as fuck.
Oh yeah, I reckon those guys are a
Yes.
grand time. I reckon they're such a laugh.
I'd
Actually, speaking of Fear Factory, have you heard the new singer?
yes, Milo was
What's your
very, very good.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I caught them when I was in the US. I went to one of the shows they were doing with Static X.
Man, that would have been amazing.
It was, dude, it was fucking crazy. It was Cultus Black was the opening band. That's a local band. Go and fucking check out Cultus Black, by the way. If you just fucking you're missing out if you haven't checked them out. It was Cultus Black, it was Twisted, it was Fear Factory, Dope, and then Static X. Milo's vocals, fucking cannot fault them. Cannot fault his vocals. I feel like I don't know. I feel like his stagecraft could use a little bit more things, but like this is a guy who's mainly just done YouTube stuff. Am I right? Like I think
that's
his
right.
thing.
Yeah.
He's not as not he hasn't really done live performance at the level the Fear Factory's at before, so I can understand that and still needing a bit of work. Given comparatively how inexperienced he is at that compared to the rest of the guys in the band, but fucking amazing voice, really, really, and it held up for the whole set. Fucking brilliant, really good work there. So I'm a big fan of that.
Me too.
Who is a band or artist that you're listening to at the moment that you believe is underrated and deserves more attention?
That's a really good question, man.
Feel free to take a moment to open your Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna fucking do that right
and
now.
scope it out
Yeah,
because
Well, who's a
We
band
forgot
that
to tell him beforehand. Get your Spotify
yeah.
ready.
Sorry, we really
That's
should give
alright.
people that warning. I think.
All right. Shit. That's a really good
It's
question.
good because we want to know. I mean, we know what we're listening to, but
Yeah,
we
what
want to
are
know
you
what our guests are
listening
listening to. That because we always trying to expand our own horizons. So
I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I listen to albums when I doing the research thing. Probably my buddy's Freedom of Fear.
yeah,
Freedom of
Yeah.
Fear.
Like
Freedom
they
of
are
Fear. Awesome.
fucking from Adelaide, and they are like we played a couple of shows with those guys, and they just destroy every fucking time. Like they are
Oh yeah.
amazing. Check them out if you haven't heard them. They're just really intense, amazing musicians, and we just love them as people as well. They're just
That's
really,
great.
really good. They're a bunch of really good cats.
Sweet. Maybe we'll get them on the. Maybe we'll have to get them on the
Yeah, we'll have to
podcast
check
at
'em
some
out.
point.
Yeah,
That
you
sounds
should
like a
hit up
good-
Maddie.
Sounds like some good people to talk to then.
man.
All right, man. We're starting to get into the more involved questions now. So this is good. This is good. What is something that people may be surprised to learn about you?
That I'm a grandfather.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were pretty
Yeah.
fucking surprised about that.
We'll give that. That was like
That's
that-
the
that
big
was-
one. That's
yeah.
probably the big one. That and the thing is, I'm probably in person. I am actually quite shy. I'm very. Yeah. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of metalheads get like that. Like we like to be extroverted for a bit,
Yeah.
and then we're just like, stay the fuck away from me. Just let me, let me.
But like, hey man, I love having a
Right.
chat. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
But I'm awkward as fuck.
Metalheads are like
Yeah.
cats. Come pat us
Yeah.
for a bit, but eventually we're just going to be like, nah, I've had enough. Back the fuck up.
Yeah. I get all weird.
All right, obviously you've been doing music for a little while now, so you might have some good ones for this next one. What is the cringiest band name or song name that you've ever been involved with?
Oh. Man, that's going back a while. Just band name that I've been involved with. Probably
Or
my
song name.
first band
Or
was
song name.
Mind's Eye. It was really shit.
What was
That
that?
was my first band. It was a band called Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, no. Let's back that one up. My second band was called Dysfunction, and it was named after the Stained album because I really liked
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
you won't find any of that shit anywhere.
Yeah, nah.
But
Okay.
it was really cringe. That whole, you've got to have your evolutionary steps to get
You
you where
do.
you are. But you
You
look
do.
back and I go, oh man, what was I doing?
But that's
Not
that's
most
why we
of
love
these.
asking
Not,
the
not
question.
most of the kids these days. Most of the kids these days come out with a fucking PhD in recording, marketing, and fucking audio engineering.
Yeah, they're like 20 years old and they know more about the business than we ever will. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, yeah, I like because prior to moving up here, right? I just a little sidetrack. Prior to moving up here, I kind of didn't go to a lot of shows. Like I played some tribute shows, whatever, but I wasn't attending shows regularly because I wasn't playing in bands and I was kind of out of the loop on a lot of stuff. When I came up here and started to do music again up here, started getting out and going to a lot of shows, and I'm like, I don't know if you're a bit like me, but when I go out to a show, I kind of assume everyone's around my age for the most part, unless it's really obvious that they're not. And like I'll be out there and all these bands that I'm seeing and the people that are playing in these bands were born after I started playing music. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. It definitely throws me for a loop every time I think about it because I'm the old timer and I'm so afraid to give anyone advice because then I'm the old guy at the gig that's giving them unsolicited advice, right? It's just telling them how it should be done, or how it used to be done back in the day.
Like, what you know what your kids need these days is tape sharing. Get yourself those cassettes. Go get a box of cassettes from Woolworths. Tape your demo onto that and give that around at school. That's what we used to do, and that's what would work for you.
You got a CD burner.
I'm very rapidly becoming Grandpa Simpson instead of Homer Simpson. In that episode where it's like, I used to be hip and with it, and then they changed what it was. Now what it is weird and scary to me. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
All right,
true.
last one in the quick question quarter. This is a bit more wholesome. If you could give your younger self one piece of music-related advice, what would it be?
Be afraid to fail.
Be afraid to fail, or
don't be afraid. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Well, a little bit of both. But be afraid, Nev. Don't you fucking fail. No, I misspoke. Don't be afraid to fail, because at the time I was so like I have to, I didn't let myself grow and try new things, and I didn't start actually using my full voice until I was confident to. So it took me a little while.
Okay, awesome.
Well, the boys from them things say, what is a failure? Failure just the first steps to progress.
Love that.
I failed a lot.
And look how much you've progressed.
Look how much I'm still, failing.
No way, man.
We love
no way. Snake Mountain is going absolutely gangbusters. The Everblack podcast is being well received. You're making waves, man.
Yeah. Let's move along to the next segment then.
All right.
Let me hit mute. When Kyle's ready, gonna hit the button.
Mute this.
Hit the button, mute the thing, hit the thing.
And we go to
Come on, if you want to fight.
Oh, come on then.
Get in the bin.
Are you enjoying the weather there, mate? What? Are you enjoying the weather there?
You'll see it. It's good.
Kyle just gives me a shout with the thing.
Yeah, go.
All right.
Is it doing the thing?
Done the thing.
Oh, there's a cutaway. There's a cutaway.
Is there?
With the things.
Hear this?
We need a soundboard.
No.
We need a soundboard for something. So
Can
we
you
can
hear
hit
that?
funny things.
No, I can't.
Was it a clap? I heard like a clap.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah. Claps and 808s and stuff.
I heard the 111. I'm sorting out the soundboard situation this weekend.
Yeah. We need something like that.
I'm sorting that out.
Right. So anyway, this segment used to be known by a different name, but now it's called Get in the Bin. A little slightly more YouTube friendly name, even though we still swear like sailors on this thing. This segment's called Get in the Bin. So basically the whole idea here is if you could be like Thanos and gather up all of the Infinity Stones and the gauntlet and just snap your fingers and take elements out of existence from the music scene, business, industry, whatever you want to call it. What 3 things would you erase and why?
That's a real tough one.
It is, and I mean you've been around for a little bit,
and you're on both sides, so it can be anything. It can be anything from the podcast game.
I don't know, man. I guess
punters, venues,
local bands calling their friends fans grinds my gears a little, because it's like these are your friends, and it sort of makes you. Just seems like it's a separation. They're your supporters. They're the people that come and support you at every show in your local. These are my fans. It's like, no, man, they're your friends. Don't be afraid to call them your friends. You know what I mean? They're there. They're your supporters. treat them like family.
Yeah,
That's
I think
mine.
that. I mean, I've had. Yeah, I think there's a distinction between like supporters who are friends that are supporting you first and foremost because they are your friends.
Yep.
As opposed to fans.
Mhm.
You know, like I've had people that when I've left a band that I was in have admitted to me that the sole reason they supported the band was because they were my friend, not because they liked the music. And I'm like, cool, like I appreciate the support, but it's a bit disheartening at the same time for you to tell me that. You
Probably
know,
could have
but
kept that one
it's,
to yourself there, buddy.
but like like you definitely need you know you're not going to survive doing music if that's your fan base. You need to expand beyond that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
But
I 100% agree with
they
you.
can call themselves fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. If someone goes, I'm a fan of yourself, you go, thanks, man. But I don't know, like it's just something about local bands.
That's a very
Oh,
new one.
Those are my fans. I've seen it a few times, and I'm like, don't do that to the people. Everyone, everyone that comes along for the ride is a new friend. Is the way I see it. You know.
On a similar note, you know what gets me when it's a band that is playing, like let's say they're from Brisbane, they're playing a venue in Brisbane, not necessarily even a particularly big venue, like maybe a couple of hundred people or whatever. They're from Brisbane, they're playing to a venue in Brisbane, and they're just like, "What's happening in Brisbane? How are you?" Blah, blah, blah. It's like you're fucking from here. Like, what are you talking? What are you talking about? Like,
that's
you're
me.
talking to, yeah, you do that. I don't know. I feel like
learn the
I feel
venue's
like,
name. Learn the
I
venue's
feel
name
like-
you're playing,
I
and at
feel like
least
if
say the
you're a
venue's
local,
name.
if you're a local, just say the venue's name. If you're from interstate, maybe then it's kind of okay. But like, if you're from a city, just say the venue. I don't know. That's my thing about it. I'm just kind of like,
Okay, I'm taking that on board. So next time, if I see you
man,
at the show, I'm gonna look you dead. I'm gonna come right up to your face, and I'm gonna
and you're
go,
gonna say, "Hey, Brisbane, how you going?" Right in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, "Hello, back room." Is what
Ah.
be like, "Fuck."
You got to say it like that too. You got to whisper and be like, "Hi, back room."
Back room, mate. Yeah, this is the back room, mate.
As long as I'm getting like a sensual, stroke on
Rub
the
his
cheek while you're
face.
saying it, that's it. No, I don't know. For me, I wouldn't. It's not something I would do because to me it just seems weird to do. But like that's just my kind of thing. But all right, so yeah, your first one there, we'll say bands calling their
Friends.
friends their fans.
Fans, unless you're packing out 200, 300 people a night.
To be
Okay.
fair, anyone
Awesome.
that's paying to come see you is a friend.
That's-
You
hey,
should
man,
make the
that's
effort to
it.
make your friend.
Hey man, that's it. And I know, as we said before, like a lot of us metal dudes out in the wild are like deer and headlights. People are, hey, you going? You're like, oh, it's people talking to me. But at the same time, you guys are musos. You appreciate when people come up and tell you they enjoyed your set or they buy a T-shirt or something like that.
Yeah,
And to me, that's making a new friend.
Yeah,
We're new pals now,
definitely.
and that's
Okay. What's number 2?
Oh, number 2. This is something else I had to think about, and it's a bit controversial. No, I'm not going to go down.
no,
that road.
go.
Ah,
Go.
damn.
If you think
Go.
Stir up some shit, and I don't want to do that.
No, we can stir some shit. Who knows? I might even grab a spoon with you.
Oh, I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one.
look, it wouldn't be the first
One,
controversial
I guess.
statement that's been
All
made
right.
on
Okay.
the
So.
podcast.
Nah. No, you know what? Sorry, lads. I'm going to leave that because
Okay,
it's a bit,
fair enough. Fair
Tell
enough.
us afterwards. Tell us
It's
when
a
we're off
bit-
air.
Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's a bit fresh. Anyway, so I guess for me within industry is just people need to support each other. Like I have to say, on the podcast side of things, not the band side of things. Chris Peters from Heavy Mag, Chris Peters,
Yep.
best fucking dude there is. Like that guy, look, I don't know if he's watching or whatever, but I just want to say he has been so supportive of me throughout my own little journey. As we've only known each other a little while, but I want to say like he's on a much bigger level than what I am, and he has just the whole way he's just been so supportive, and he just loves what he does. He loves bands, he loves the music, and I feel like his heart is in the right place. Where there are some others that treat it like competition instead of us all being in together trying to work towards the same goal at promoting bands and helping each other out. And that's one thing I find that it needs more of. Get rid of the ego, get rid of all that garbage, and just and be more like Chris Peters.
Agree.
Absolutely. Crispy's an absolute legend, man. I've spoken to him a few times. You know, he did an interview with Nuclear Vision when the new lineup kind of launched. He's put us on some shows, held a lot of promotion for us. So he's, yeah, really, really cool dude. I got a lot of love for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been awesome. So yeah, but I get what you mean. Like, but not. Yeah, the rising tide lifts all ships. And
that's exactly what I said.
When we yeah, when like I've seen how competition can kill a scene, dude. I have. Like, it happened in fucking
We watched
Sydney.
it. We watched it.
It happened in Sydney. We watched this lot. We watched it happen in real time. Like through the kind of 2000s, Sydney was going gangbusters, and then going into the 2010s, like man, through the middle of that, it was just fucking because people were only out for self, and they were trying to undermine other people and protect opportunities just for themselves, and there was a lot of jealousy going around, and it was just starting to come out of that when COVID hit, and that really obviously slowed it down a lot. Now coming out the other side of it, from what I am hearing, is that it's a lot better.
Oh, you're hearing correctly.
Because people are like, I think, you know, COVID reminded a lot of people of like, oh shit, like I don't like when that gets taken away. And so everyone's, you know, being a bit more cooperative and collaborative, and shit's kind of building up again, which is awesome. But yeah, like I would hate to see the Brisbane scene go the same way, like that. What happened to Sydney? Because
it won't happen. Not after the rigmarole of all the bullshit. And nah, it's not gonna happen, mate.
And bands, okay, you want my other one? It's bands shitting on other bands and undermining bands. That's one thing you sort of touched up on, like, you know, especially when they get dirty and sneaky and do things that, you know what I mean? Like, for example, there's the you know, selling tickets for shows. When bands sell tickets for shows, and other bands message other bands' friends and families and people in their orbit, and try to undercut them, like, oh man, I'll do this for like, you know, half price for you and stuff. I just, you know, that just brings everybody down. Shit like that. I don't know what it is, man.
Like, that's something like nasty. I've played so many shows where the bands I've been in has had to sell tickets, and you know what? It's never once occurred to me to message to try and like undercut other bands in that way.
No, because you're not a shitbag.
Sure, have
yeah, because
like
you're not a shit cunt.
Have competition where you're like, but I'm just like, I've never, like, it's just never fucking occurred to me, and it doesn't even make sense why people, like, yeah, why would you have that? I mean, I'll give you a great example, like, in that sort of down period in the Sydney, you know, the Sydney scene there was a period of time when there was a very small group of bands that were getting international supports. On the more medium-sized, that's kind of the smaller and more medium-sized international bands that would come around and play like the 500-person or 1,000-person venues. And there was a very, very small number. I'm talking like you could count them on one hand of bands that were regularly getting on these support slots. And there was a lot of people that were getting dirty about that. And I can understand being jealous about it. That's perfectly rational response. You know, you're seeing these bands get a lot of opportunities and getting to do all this cool shit that you want to do. I can completely understand.
I don't think it's real jealousy as much as it is envy, or depending on the person you are.
Jealous. Well, no, but I can understand being jealous. But there's jealousy and then there's envy. And it was the people that were giving into the envy. I think there was a lot of you know, oh well, why are they, you know, the fucking bookers are being lazy, not trying to find other bands to do it, or the, you know, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, okay, but one, they already have a connection with these bands.
Yes.
2, they know these bands are going to promote and sell tickets because they've done it before and they're a proven commodity. 3, like, are you reaching out to these guys, to these promoters, to try and get on the shows? And 4, I will never, ever begrudge the bands themselves for taking an opportunity that's given to them. I can understand, you know, being a bit frustrated with the promoter doing that. I get it. I understand why the bookers and promoters do it, but I can also understand the frustration about not affording other bands those same opportunities. But like, if you're a band and you know you're trying to get bigger and you're trying to get more traction, and these promoters keep coming to you going, "Hey, do you want to support XYZ?" Why are you going to say no?
Oh no, give someone else a turn.
Yeah,
No,
give
we
someone
don't
else
want
a
to
turn,
play
like,
the big
fucking-
show.
No, I'm gonna
I
play the
understand.
fucking shows that I get offered because I want to
That's
fucking
right.
do that, and that's, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, it's not the band's fault for taking the opportunities that they've been given.
No.
And
it's nothing
know,
new because it's been happening for
Mate,
years
yeah,
and
and-
years. Back when I was
yeah.
a young lad, there were like the same 2-3 bands that would get every single major support that would come through. You could call it. You could literally call it. You go, that band will get her, and it would get announced. Like, it was a long running joke.
Yeah.
But you know, why would they put in their shoes, like you're saying? Why would they go, you know what? No, I don't want to play with Machine Head. No, I don't want to play with Slate. Like, why? That's just fucking insane for them to
Don't
go.
hate the player, hate the game.
You know what? Let's give someone else a shot. But I do agree. You know, they should look at getting other bands a shot because there is more bands and keeping it fresh and everything like that. But at the same time, I agree. Like, they would have been insane to go no, because as soon as you say no,
You're not
then
getting asked again.
that's it. You're not getting.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, they're not. They're less likely to call you for the next one.
That's exactly right.
It's but yeah, like, I just think it's a matter of, bands need to just kind of go, okay, if I'm feeling like talking trash about this band, why?
Yeah,
what is
don't.
it that I'm not happy about? Is it that I feel they're getting success that I deserve? And I just think I just think there needs to be a bit more introspection and just generally looking inward from a lot of these people that want to try and drag down other bands.
It comes with age and alcohol, though.
But I think, well, yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of us go through that thing and we tend to mature a bit and just decide that we just want to, we don't need the drama around it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think so. Those are great. I 100% agree with all of those. You know, it's just too much negativity around it. But I think that COVID kind of shocked people a little bit.
Yes.
And they were like, "Oh fuck, like this has got taken away now, and how easily it can be taken away." Let's. Like,
and then you still got
that.
venues closing left, right, and centre like it's going out of fashion in between Sydney and
Tough times.
Queensland. It's just growing. That's why I was so happy to get out to the Crowbar. And like, admittedly, it was a Wednesday night last night, but it was just so nice to be able to just go and see a show, and it was a free one at that. It was free entry. To be fair, the beers were a bit of a sting, but you get that on the craft beer jobs when you go and tiptoeing into the city. But you know, all in all, it's shows are going gangbusters again. I don't think we're going to have this resurgence of. I think everyone's like Raph said, after COVID and stuff like that. Everyone's worked out. We're all fucking in this together.
I think we're gonna. I think we've got a few more years of it.
I think we've got
a few more years of this momentum, and then things will settle down a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, you got the Heist show that's nearly sold out. That's tomorrow night at the Red Rattler.
What show's that one?
Heist with Weightless and I think a couple of others. That's at the Red Rattler on the 22nd. That's nearly
I'll be
sold
back
out.
in a minute, boys.
Yeah. Which is awesome. You know, it's so good to see that Sydney shows are just starting to sell out. You know, Crave had 2 shows. They had one last night. And I
Great
think
band.
They are.
Shout out to those guys. Amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen them, played with them, and I just think they're pulling numbers and they're doing some amazing things right now.
Yeah, and they're the nicest bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like you know, they just and they get what they're doing. They get their craft. They take it very seriously. They take their merchandise seriously. Yeah, it's a good show. I mean, Sienna is just an absolute bombshell on the mic.
She amazing bass player too.
Yeah, amazing bass player.
Great front person.
Mm.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing. They're a band that I think to watch. So and that's Crave with a K.
It is Crave with a K.
Yeah. So yeah. You play as well?
I used to play in a band called Exist Within back in the day.
Okay.
So we were a Sydney band. We sort of made it up as far as Canberra and Wollongong and stuff like that. We sort of tried to tiptoe into the Queensland scene, but didn't quite make it. But yeah, I did that for about 5 or 6 years, and then that's how I met Raph, because we were sort of a part of this little group of bands that all used to play shows together in Sydney, and it was awesome. We all became really, really, really good friends, you know. And then don't know what happened. How like a couple of bands just sort of fizzled out. I know we fizzled out because our guitarist bought a house in Queensland and took his family up there, and we obviously couldn't begrudge him that, because he went to go start his fresh life. And we always were under the agreement that because we work so hard together, we were like, nah, we're not slotting anyone else in here. Like, we're too much like family now. We've gone through too much, and who knows? I might convince them to do a reunion show one day.
One-off
And
reunion.
we might do a one-off reunion show. We might just play one show in Queensland and one show in Sydney. Who knows? But yeah,
Get Snake Mountain a headline.
yeah, 100%.
We'll support. We'll just open.
No, we just do the set the before the support slot.
Yeah.
But we'd have to get
That'd be
friends. Like, we'd get so many friends to do it. You know what I mean? Like, if we were going to do it,
Yeah.
it just I don't know how you pick the bands. We just know so many now, and there are so many good bands out there. Like Nouveau would have to be on the lineup because they were one of the ones that used to do around the traps with us, and it's realistically the only bands I can really think of from that era in Sydney that have really sort of kept it together are Red B and Nouveau.
Yeah,
and
Red B.
a big congratulations to Red B again for getting that fucking support slot with Sunk Loto and Ocean Sleeps. Like,
They got that.
they
Okay,
got
cool.
that, man. Like, the
I
whole
used to
East
go to
Coast
school with Luke and Sean from Sunk Loto.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go.
That's
So-
rad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
rad.
they got-
And also,
Wow.
while we're talking about the boys from Nouveau as well, congratulations to them
Yeah.
for getting a song on the Cyberpunk
Game.
game.
Was it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Something on that. Yeah, they're one of the. I think they were one of
Was
the
it the
community
playlist or the game?
submissions.
No, I think it was a game.
Ah, I can't remember. One of the two. Something to do with Cyberpunk 2077. They got tied in with that. So good on those boys. Good on those boys.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
awesome.
Well, look, we've been going for a while. Zoom's coming up again around for the third time on the timer, so I think we'll take it home. Let's wrap this one up. So look, what have you got coming up in terms of? Have you got anything coming up in terms of the band or the podcast that you can talk to us about, or is it all sort of just like follow the socials and there's news coming soon?
Bit of both. No. It's no. I'd say okay. With Snake Mountain, we have recorded a new single, and there are other tracks that have been recorded. We're just working out what we're gonna do. This new single, is a song we've been playing the set that I love. I really love. It's about Momora. You guys, Thundercats.
I am.
Thundercats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's called Ever Living, and we're just waiting to film the video in September with Kyle Watson, who is an amazing filmmaker. He did the Veins video, works with the Piston Fist guys a lot. He's amazing dude. So we're filming the video. We're just waiting for him with his busy schedule, and then we're going to release some new stuff in, I think, October, early November. We got some shows we're trying to work out at the moment on when to play. But the hardest thing is trying to navigate shows around all these other big tours that are coming through, because you don't want to play in the same night as like Cavill Decapitation or anything, or Napalm Death. You don't want to play in the same nights as the big boys. and not in the same area. Anyway, we've got a few things coming up. Watch the socials for that one, and Everblack. I'll just keep grinding away, doing the thing.
Yeah, man. Keep doing the thing, because like you work really hard on that. You got some big names, which is awesome to see.
Thanks, man.
I really need to sit down and watch that chat with Waylon as well. Because I just can't get enough. Like I saw the one he did with Chaosis, which was awesome, and he's got such a good energy about it, and it makes me more excited for that tour as well. So that's really, really cool, man. Kyle, what have you got coming up on Beer Buddy, man? What have you got happening there?
The boys from Dem Things, the hat, they're
Yep.
going to be coming on real soon. That's going to be an absolute stellar chat. I actually have the Poly. I was speaking to a couple of bands from last night. So the Polymox will be coming on very soon. They're this awesome rock blues female fronted powerhouse, like absolutely unreal. So keep an eye out for them ones. They'll be coming up real soon. And there'll also be a gig video coming up from Wednesday night, because I did a fuckload of filming. Gig review.
Awesome.
Gig review. So keep an eye out for that too. So other than that, no, just and another. I'm getting back into the beer reviews. So you'll be catching one of them very soon too. So you'll be catching a YouTube video from the beer reviews coming up probably Monday.
Sick.
Excellent,
Love that.
dude.
That's
It'll be
good. That's
So
good.
we're getting back into the swing of things. What about you?
What about you, dude? What do you got
us.
coming up?
Well, in terms of this, I think next week we've got Magnetron coming on, so that's going to be good. We're gonna
Excellent.
have a nice chat to that crew there. Still trying to line up some more ones after that. You know, we're looking at what's happening with Hellvegenfest, trying to get some of those bands on, which is looking like being fun there. Obviously, keeping an eye out around the New Metal Mayhem tour, because we know there is still some more support bands to be announced for some of those shows. So we're trying to keep an eye out for who that's going to be, see if we can tee that up. And obviously, as those shows get closer, we are intending to start interviewing the bands that are going to be on.
Sin Soto, Alexa, I'm looking at you.
Yep, Sin Soto, Piston Fist. If you guys, Piston Fist boys, are still watching, we definitely will tee that up. Chaosis, and of course, Anders Cole 70. We are trying to get that one happening as well. So yeah, on top of that, in terms of what I've got going on musically, like I said, just continue to work on this Skunkbone album, try and get that finished. Nuclear Vision, we got Hellvegenfest coming up, and then some more stuff coming up a bit later in the year that we can't quite talk about just yet, but we are itching to fucking have that news break, so we will see what happens there. But you know, that's about it. That's what we've got going on. We are going to be throwing to a video from Snake Mountain for those of you watching on the live stream, so don't go anywhere. And other than that, we'll get this wrapped up because we've got like less than 2 minutes left on the thing.
Yep.
But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Massive thank you to Neville for coming on for this one, man. I feel
Thank
like,
you so
I feel
much,
like we
man.
could talk for forever, man. Anytime you got stuff to promote, you want to come on, talk. If we ever need any co-host stuff, we'll definitely reach out to you as well, because I think we've got some good chemistry here. And I might get some tips from you for setting up and lighting my my new setup in the office once I'm doing all that.
Kmart.
Yeah, dude.
Kmart is my best friend. Absolutely.
Kmart and Amazon. Kmart and Amazon.
Just Kmart. That's all
All
it is. But
All
hey,
right, take care of
boys, thank you
yourselves.
so much,
Yes.
legends.
We appreciate it,
You
man.
keep kicking ass because you do a fantastic fucking job, and
love you,
I
man.
can't wait to see what you do next.
Awesome.
We got 1 minute. It's gonna cut out.
Gonna
Does the
cut out.
cutout
But anyway,
thing.
thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. We
Thank
love you guys so
you.
much. Thank you, Neville. Thank you to my co-host Kyle.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned for a fucking song from Snake Mountain. Peace out. We love you guys.
See yous.